get started in just a little bit here. As a quick review, last time we were experimenting, learning, trying things until we figured out kind of associations in Elixir. We had this weird mix of Elixir v2 documentation combined with Elixir v3 documentation. For whatever reason, the v3 documentation is just, I don't know, nowhere near not it hasn't been updated as much or something. It's missing a lot of stuff and whatnot. The guides are pretty sparse. There's nothing about associations at all in the getting started. There's a little testing section, but we kind of had to figure it out on our own. So that was an interesting exercise there. For now, we're going to keep going with what we did. So last time we got it working at the hello web, the business logic layer, right? We got the belongs to user on our to-dos, and we got the has many field on the users, right? So they're kind of associating themselves in both directions. Normally, when you think of it, you're, how do you want to say, a has many relationship, meaning the user has many to-dos. In the database, and you can see that in the structure here, they only exist in one side from a database point of view. The to-dos entity, has a record of the users, right? But the users, there's no record of the to-dos, right? Because that's not how the relational databases are modeled that way. So despite the fact that in the database, you're only writing it in one place, right? What Ecto, the ORM, the object relational mapper, is doing is it has the ability to access them from either object. The to-do object can access the parent user, and the user can access the many to-dos that it has associated with it. So that's just a difference between the code side of things and how you model it on the database side of things. So now we have these in place. The goal is we've got, of course, our list of users, and we can go into a user, right? Now we want to get a list of to-dos here, right? So what I'm going to do for now is just to kind of kickstart us, is I'm going to create a new to-do, right? Default title is synthetic to-do. Synthetic meaning that we created it directly in the database. We didn't use the app or Phoenix or Ecto or anything like that. Description can just be empty for now. Done is false. Inserted user ID is, we want, what's our user ID? It looks like 3 for that user. So let's save changes. Inserted at. All right, I think I'm remembering that I have to manually put these nows in. No. Be explicit about those. So there we go. Okay, so now we've got our synthetic to-do. Doesn't have a description. I think I'm fine with that for now. The user ID is 3, and I think this tool is pretty good in that if I click this, it'll actually show me which user ID. It's kind of a nice little feature of this Postico app. Completely unaffiliated, but a big fan of this particular software. It's not open source, nor is it free. So you will have to pay for it, but it has been, I bought it a couple times as they go up in versions, but it's been worth it every time. Again, I'm just speaking as a fan, unrelated whatsoever. So let's go here to our guest detail, our user detail page. And we're going to see what we can do about getting a list of to-dos. So the user page, the index is the list of all users, excuse me. The show is the detail page. So we see here the username and the user email, and we see that right here, guest and the email. So now what we want to do is loop through and basically do a loop of all the oh my goodness, I can't even talk right now. Oh, this looks goofy. Let me fix this while I'm here. I just noticed that we need to not repeat the unordered list. That would have been infuriating had I known about that. And in fact, we can even indent this here. Okay, so what we do like, though, is this unordered list concept. We're just going to copy and paste this. Now, of course, we don't have a list of users. What we do have is a single user, right? And then the single user should, we should be able to access, again, I think we just called it to-dos. So if we go back to our show, we should do single user to-dos, do for a single to-do. right? And for now, we're going to keep it simple and just see if we can't print out the title. So forgetting the checkbox for now, we need todo.title, right? So, and it's unhappy. Nope, because this thing is not, oh wait, why is it unhappy? User to-dos. Enumerable, not involved association, not loader association, to-dos, not loader type. Okay, so enumerable means we can't, I think that means we can't for loop over it. So, list. So we can't do a for loop over the to-dos. So we got to fetch the to-dos somehow. All right, so let's go to our user controller. User fetched user. Can I just add more here? Can I just do to-dos? Fetched to-dos. I don't know if this is right. Again, we're experimenting a little bit. Fetch user equals fetched user dot to-dos. This doesn't feel right. Something about it feels odd to me, and I'm not sure what. But for now, we could let's just try this. I don't think this is going to work. EX9. EX9. To-do at to-dos. I'm not doing. Okay, well, this is the same thing. So this is the same error. We're getting the same error because to-dos is not here. Now, let's look at our notes. What do we know about lists? We know that lists are enumerable, right? So if we just did an empty list, oops, I'm going to keep that for now. But if we just hypothetically we're just going to experiment to see if we broke anything else. If we just give it an empty list, which is the easiest possible thing to render, all right, and run this guy again. Okay, so it goes here, and if we inspect, we should see when we look at the source, we should see the unordered list and then none of the list items, right? And we see, what is this? Library, oh, that's the library load stuff. Users, here's an unordered list with nothing in between. Okay, so it's more or less working, right? So if we give it a list, it can do its thing, right? The question is, when we do fetched to-dos like this, right? This is not a list. This is something else. Some other, I don't need this right now. Not loaded of type, not loaded. Okay, so it says to-dos is not loaded, even though, am I doing render wrong here? Do I need a different syntax if I've got multiple assigns there? Okay, let me go back to the basics here about the assigns. Did I have any notes on assigning things in the controller? No. Let's go back here. We first learned about assigns way over here in the, is it views and templates, rendering templates? No, that was the assigns, yeah. So assigns is one thing. So what do we want to do there? Oh, it's a list of assigns. I think we want multiple assigns. Do I have to give it a map of assigns? And a map is %kv. What is this? Is it just tuples? Am I sending a bunch of tuples? All right, well, let's take a look at render. I think, where's the render function? view. Okay, render function. Here's what I want. Oh, I want to just go there. Why can't I click you? Render. Oh. Render 3. Let's go to render 3. Connection template assigned. So we got connection template and then 4 arguments. So this is never getting in there. So that's part of our problem. Now, assigns could be a keyword, a map, a binary, or an atom. Binary. It's a binary. Is a binary an atom and a thing? Binary might be new to me. Yeah, so an Elixir is a binary type. Is that a pair of things? Okay, well let's look up. So we got new things to learn here. So Elixir concepts, binary. Oh, that's not what I want. So we're learning more about Elixir now. So we're out of Phoenix and back into Elixir, right? Let's go Elixir binary. I'm pretty sure this is just a pair of things. Oh, wait a minute. Binary might be a set of bits. No. I'm not binary as in two things. It's binary as in, oh my goodness, what am I thinking? As in a bunch of zeros and ones. All right. Okay, so forget that. It's binary, right? So we don't need a binary. We got to give it a map. So for our assigns, let's convert this to a map. And then we think the syntax is this. User fetch todos. Where's our map? I want the latest version of map. There it is. So, okay, so we do need this in here. Now, so we got that. Is it like... Why is this syntax different? What is going on there? Is that a tuple? What am I giving it there? Keyword T. T is a list of key value pairs. Key is an atom. T is an array of these things. Maybe I don't need an array. Maybe I just need, or maybe I don't need a map. Maybe I just need an array of these things like that. User fetch user todos, fetch todos. Let's see how mad it gets at me. I know I saw an example of doing more than one thing somewhere in here. There was definitely... somewhere on the render page. So here, there's no assigns. Okay, so here we're doing messenger, messenger. So they're assigning this and this. This looks like an atom. Okay, so there's a rendering section here. Messenger, messenger. So what am I doing? I want more than one assign. So render, so this is getting that. Con, oh, this is a crazy pipe notation. Assign, assign, render show. All right, well, we're going to try this then. I'm not familiar with this syntax at all. This is taking a connection, piping that into an assign with our two arguments. Piping that into another assign with our next two arguments. And piping that to a render 1 instead of a render 3. Like that. And define function assign to. Am I spelling it wrong? ASSIGN. Oh, this is curious. Oh, comma. So I'm doing this wrong. So I need the comma there, and this is, the colon is in front because these are now atoms, I guess. Okay, so we're still getting the show 9, so this thing here is still unhappy. Association to-dos is not loaded. Do I have to load associations somehow? Ecto. We're going to just use Google. This feels like a very common problem. Preload the user as well as team users. Oh, okay. So here's what's going on. So when I'm fetching the users here, right, all I'm fetching is the users table here. All I'm fetching is this table. And remember, this table has no information on the to-dos. So what I have to do, right, is in addition to getting all the users I want, I have to preload the to-dos here, right? So meaning that, let's see, what is my syntax here? I think I can start doing stuff like this. So getting the repo for a specific ID, and then for that, after that, I can preload. All right, I'm going to write this down. This is an important concept. Must preload. It's not downstream. It's we'll just call it associations. Associations. Otherwise, we can't access them. All right. So again, this fetched user.todos. This is an association, and unless I preload, it's not going to be there. So I have to, now what is the syntax here? This is goofy looking syntax. Preload team users. So what is this particular person doing? It is, so he's loading from team. So he's loading teams, right? And I'm loading a user, team users. So has many to-dos. So we're loading to-dos for user. team users. Is this is the name of the schema here? So I just need a to-do here. To-do is to-do. Is that all I need? Let's see. Given module does not exist. Web repo, hello web. Okay. As many team users. Okay, so what am I doing wrong here? I feel like I'm close. I feel like we're all close here. Team users. Okay, so you need to preload the user as well as the team users. I'm preloading the to-do as well as... Alright, well, let's try this. There's an actual link to the documentation here. Oh, it's even here. Preload. Query bindings expression. Post preload comments. Comments C. What is C? Join. From P in post. So for a post, you're getting all... Okay, so I got to do the join. I think I need the join here. All right, so this is where we get into... this is where we get into the SQL-ish-ness. Oh man, this is a little bit crazy. Comments preloader. IDs of the parent association, and this host IDs here. Oh man, what is going on here? Preload likes. Returns all posts, their associated comments, and the associated likes for those comments. Okay, so I need to-dos. In my to-dos, I need the to-do list. I actually need user ID here. Do I need user ID? Is that what I need? Or do I need title? Right. So we have has many belongs to the function receives the ID of the parent association. ID. I think this might just be ID here. So we're getting the ID, and then we're getting all the to-dos that have the user ID there. All right, well, let's be more explicit here. Let's rename. So this is actually going to be user ID. I want to disambiguate user ID. Now in to-dos, wow, this syntax is confounding me. Post ID. Maybe it's just user ID field is as an atom, because that's what we call this, is the user ID. So module does not exist. Show 15. Is that where I'm at? Let me look at my user thing. So we're given the user has many to-dos, which is to-do, which is the to-do object. And in our user controller, to-dos. Okay, where was our Stack Overflow example? So he's using the atom there. This is this is an atom and an atom. To-dos. All right. So I'm pretty sure we're close. Not loaded. We're going to do has many, because that might give us a clue here. It didn't change much, did it? Preload books. Okay. Oh, that doesn't help. There's some old stuff here. All right. So what do we learn? We learn ecto. Preload syntax is very tricky at first. There's not really anything we learn, but it just tells us we have to pay attention and be ready for some experimentation here. Okay. No, that's not useful. So a lot of people are successful without that. The other person was doing. So I wonder if all we need is just to preload the to-dos and see if this does this for us. I wonder if the other one being the original example we looked at, I don't know if you can remember it, but this one here, I noticed that this is when it comes up, this was a many-to-many, but we're not doing many-to-many, we're doing a many-to-one. Given module does not exist. So, okay, so going back here, this was many-to-many, right? They have a join model, it's many-to-many. And so they had this weirder syntax. So for has many, I'm going to give up on that syntax for now. Right, I'm probably doing something wrong with that. All right. Has many, belongs to, perfect. This is exactly what we have. Okay, so querying. So repo all from p and post preload comments. Repo preload post comments. So I think we're mostly doing that. Repo get a single user and then preload their to-dos. Wait, do I gotta do both? Do I gotta preload and load? Okay, so it's inserting. All right, embeds we haven't learned yet. It's a new concept. We'll get to that. All right. Signing, where's preloading? One of these was a preloading documentation. Here we go. Okay, repo for pre and post, preload comments. All right, so that's one syntax there. We're doing it slightly different. We're just doing a get. Preload comments, comments query. Okay, that's if you want only certain comments, or you want to modify the query. Okay, all right, I'm starting to see this now. Just by staring at it for a little bit, which is not unusual. Sometimes you just got to stare at things. Okay, so post IDs, so to-dos, preload to-dos. Now it's really unhappy with that for some reason, because show 15. Oops, I'm slipping posture, excuse me. So show 15 is really, this is the line that it's unhappy with. It's not preloading the to-dos like I want it to. For example, it posts as many comments and preloading the comments with a custom function. Okay, so okay, all kinds of stuff in here. MNOP, preload query bindings user. This is preload 3. Is there a preload 1 that I'm missing? All right, we're going to go back to the old documentation again and see if we can't get some more clues for us. One-to-one. We're going to skip one-to-one. Okay, so has one belongs to one-to-many. There we go. So this one, okay, so users and posts is more like what we're doing. We have users and to-dos, but it's basically the same thing. Adding associations. Okay, we did that last time. Persistence, that's no problem. Oh, wait a minute. Where's the query? All right, get user ID, repo preload post. Okay, so this is not unlike what we did, user ID. User, so we're passing the user, we're getting that. Then we're passing the preload posts, which is may not be working for us. Why don't we think that works? To-do type Atom. Where are we setting to-do of type Atom? Why is to-do an atom and not one of these things? Hello web to-do? Do I need hello web dot to-do? Is this what I need? Hello web dot user? Is it really just the way I define the object that's unhappy? Oh wow, that just worked. All right, so that was actually a model issue, right? I called it a to-do, but I needed a hello web dot to-do, and then boom, we have our to-dos here. And I bet if I create a second synthetic to-do, sin2 we're going to call it. I got to put these nows here. User ID also belonging to the guest user. Save the changes. Boom, there we go. Okay, so here's what we learned. In particular, this one bug that kept us stuck is that we were defining to-dos as the Atom to-do rather than the hello web object to-do, right? And so there was a clue in the error message, right? We're going to go through that right now here. So when the error message we saw is ectoquery is not implemented for to-do of type Atom, right? And I did remember somehow that we defined to-do here, right? I'm not sure why this is an atom and not hello. So when we do just to do here, this is an atom kind of in the way that this is like a built-in atom there. But we actually need to get the to-do object, hello, we need to define it like this and whatnot. So good to know. So we were close, and thank you. I think that'll do it for today. What we're going to do next is we'll probably work on a way to create a new to-do from the user page, and then we'll tackle that next time. For now, thank you for joining. Please keep on learning, and I hope for the best for you, and enjoy the rest of whatever time until you next get a chance to watch. Take care.